Hi English 102 online students. Welcome to week 12 of our course. It's hard to believe, but we're coming close to the end of our semester. We have about 3 weeks left. So that means we're really moving into the final kind of steps of reaching the final research paper of the course, otherwise known as the problem solution research report. Hopefully by this time you've had a chance to read through the assignment guidelines for the problem solution research report. When you go into course modules, all of these final assignments are all going to be housed in the Module 9 folder. So when you head into that folder, in case you haven't had a chance to look through those guidelines, they are right here. As a reminder, you know that the outline and working thesis assignment is due tonight by Sunday, April 5th, 11:59 p.m. And that's basically your plan, how you're going to start to think about putting your ideas together for your final project. In that outline, the main goal for me is really just to have a way of giving you feedback on how you're starting to organize your ideas and integrate your sources. And also to get an idea of what your thesis statement is. What's the main foundation or argument that you're trying to put forth in your essay? And so this is really for me to give you feedback. So if I give you advice that maybe something could be organized a different way, or maybe you could, move some ideas around, I'm not going to penalize you for that. Most of you are going to get the full points for this assignment or pretty close to that, just by completing it and having all of your ideas plugged into the different parts of the outline. So don't feel terribly nervous about this one, but also make sure you put your best foot forward, put your best effort into it, because the more you put into your outline, the better product you're going to have by the end of the course. And if you see this outline example right here, I went over this with you in last week's announcement, but that gives you a good idea of how another student approached this assignment in a successful way. He pretty much had the majority of his paper already figured out before he sat down to write down the first draft. Okay, so going over to our written announcement for this week. As far as the previous assignments, the scholarly exploration essays and the annotated bibliographies, those are all graded, all have comments inserted into them, so make sure you look carefully at both assignments. The scholarly exploration essay, as I explained to you here in this first paragraph, I would think that most of you would want to use that as a source in your final paper, since you've already worked so hard on that article and you've already thought about the ideas and whether you agree or disagree with them and how strongly the authors presented their arguments. Definitely go ahead and use that as a source. Often students will ask, can I use parts of my scholarly exploration essay in my final paper? Could I use the attention getter, for example? And the answer to that is a resounding yes. Since every assignment we do is kind of helping you build up to that final paper, whatever you've done successfully in previous assignments, I'm not considering that plagiarism. You've already worked on that. It's part of an overall project that you've been building up to. So if you have some elements from previous assignments that you think are going to help you with the final assignment, you can use those. There's definitely no problem with that. Okay, so throughout this week, I'll be looking at your outlines, giving some feedback to you, so make sure you're looking out for those comments and those grades. And that leads you to the one task that you have for this week. And that task is the first draft of your final problem solution research report. So as I said, don't forget to read through the guidelines for that final project. If you haven't done that yet, you should do that before you start working on the paper itself. You've already got your outline in hand. So even if you don't have comments from me yet, don't feel like you can't get started on it. You can definitely start working on your introduction or a body paragraph or the conclusion or whatever parts you want to work on at this time. So definitely take my comments into consideration, but if you don't have them right away, you can definitely go ahead and still start working on it. So the draft of your paper needs to be a minimum of 3 pages. And on those 3 pages, you can include any parts of the paper that you want to work on at this time. So let's say that you just want to work on your introduction and a few body paragraphs. Okay, you can stop right there. Or if you want to do your introduction and 1 body paragraph and the conclusion, you could do that. Maybe you don't want to do your introduction right away. Maybe you want to work on one of the body paragraphs. Let's say the one aspect of the problem that you're explaining, and maybe you want to work on one solution paragraph, and you're just going to do that for now and not worry about the introduction or conclusion. You work on the parts of the essay that you want to work on at this time. At the same time, if you're ambitious and you feel like you want to knock out your entire first draft, your whole 6 to 7 pages, just because you've got extra time this week or just because you want to get maximum feedback on your first draft, you're also very welcome to do that too. And as far as citations, you must include in-text citations and a works cited list for any sources that you use in the draft. The reason for this is that I can't give you feedback on those after this point. The only chance for you to get feedback on your citations, other than the feedback you see in the annotated bibliographies, you won't have the chance to get it again after the draft. So whatever you turn in at the end of the semester is pretty much what it is, because I won't have a chance to give you more comments. So I really need you to give me those citations in your draft so that I can give you good comments on those. And if they don't include those, the draft will receive fewer points. And of course, just like other drafts, this draft is considered a homework assignment, so you'll get a score out of 5 points. And all those comments then you'll use to move on to the final version of your research paper, which is due at the end of the semester. All right, so to find all of these links, we're going to go back to the Module 9 folder, the same place where we started this announcement. And you'll see you've got your link to submit the outline and working thesis tonight. The guidelines for the problem solution research report are right here. You have 2 successful examples, students who wrote previous essays of the same type. They both the first essay is actually a student who took this class in another semester and received an A on that paper. The second example is one that I found on the internet that I thought was a very, very good example, but just be aware that the works cited list is in a previous format. It's like the old MLA rules before they were updated a couple of years ago. So don't follow the works cited list citations in that second example. But as far as content, organization of ideas, citations within the body of the essay, that's all really good. So that's a great example you can look at too. So the draft, you're actually going to submit at this link right underneath those example essays. And then I will be taking a look at those drafts, giving you comments in purple and yellow like I did for the scholarly exploration essay. Some of the comments will be numbers from the 25 most common errors list, and you'll use all of that information to go ahead and revise your paper for the final version, due at the very end of the semester. Okay, let's see. Anything else we need to mention? As far as the due date for this draft, normally all of our assignments are due on Sundays by 11:59, but since next Sunday is Easter Sunday, it is a holiday, and I know even though we're all kind of, taking refuge at our houses these days and not venturing out and visiting family as much as we might usually do, I'm sure you would still like to spend some time with those who are close to you. So that Sunday, take it for yourself. Enjoy the holiday as much as you possibly can. So the draft of your essay will actually be due by Monday, April 13th by 11:59. So you get that extra day. Next week, once I receive all of your drafts, the assignment you'll work on after this week will be reviewing one of your classmates' essays. Here we come back to peer review, just like we did for the curiosity essay in the beginning. Now that you're coming to sort of the culmination of this whole semester of work, I think it's really helpful to get your peers' feedback again, along with mine. So you'll have both my feedback and their feedback, and together you'll use that to revise for your final version. So I think that's really everything for today. You just have that one task to focus on this week. My office hours are going to be the same again this week, virtual office hours. So if you have any specific questions or need any specific help, you can come and visit me in those virtual office hours, Thursday from 3 to 4, Friday from 8 to 9. And of course, email is always a great way to ask questions too. Lots of you have been doing that. So I hope this week goes well. Enjoy Easter Sunday next weekend, and I'll be in touch with all of you soon.